So, you all should have song sheets somewhere on there. We handed out sheets, and no pillowcases, but sheets, so that that was a granddad joke. It wasn't even a dad joke. If I go back farther, they're in Yiddish, but I'm going to be doing some of the songs that I've been singing at the rallies. I came down here from Florence, Oregon, and we had about 500 people up there. I understand you had a pretty good number of people a couple weekends ago, whenever that was. But this one is, I changed "We Shall Not Be Moved" to "We Shall Not Be Ruled." So the original went like this. You can sing it with me. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Now here's the new verses on your sheet. We shall not be ruled. We shall not be ruled, just like a free people standing united. We shall not be ruled. Oh, I love the harmony. We will not be fooled. We will not be fooled, just like a smart people standing united. We will not be fooled. We will not go back. We will not go back, just like a free people standing united. We will not go back, holding on to freedom, holding on to freedom. We shall not be ruled, holding on to freedom. We shall not be ruled, just like the framers of our Constitution. We shall not be ruled. Protecting our democracy, we shall not be ruled. Protecting our democracy, we shall not be ruled, just like the generations before us. We shall not be ruled. Trump is not the boss of us. We shall not be ruled. Trump is not the boss of us. We shall not be ruled, just like a free people standing united. We shall not be. Last verse all together now. All of us together. We shall not be ruled. All of us together. We shall not be ruled, just like a proud people standing united. We shall not be ruled. All right. So you should have the second song on your song sheet. It's called "The Homeless Shuffle." And I wrote it in Santa Cruz back in the mid-1980s. Well, it was rather pervasive all over the country, the attitude that, and I don't have to tell this group that it's satire, but I will also tell you that I'm going to line out the chorus ahead. You have sheets, song sheets, but I kind of used to doing it that way, where I line the chorus out. Plus, it's funny, so we'll try that out. Now I sympathize with the homeless when I see them on the evening news. Somewhere there must be a place where they can park their weary shoes. Maybe a camp in the country or a building on the edge of town. But that shelter there across the street is only gonna get me down. Chorus now. Everybody should have, everybody must be fed. Everybody must be fed. Everybody has a right to a roof. Everyone has a right to a roof. Below it a nice warm bed. Below it a nice warm bed. We applaud your noble efforts. We applaud your noble efforts at guarding their collective health. At guarding their collective health. And we'll gladly give you funds and food. We'll gladly give you funds and food. Long as you can put them somewhere else. You see, I don't want to have to lock my door to be inside, safe and sound. This neighborhood will go to pot with the likes of them around. It's no fun out there in the cold. Yes, I know just how they feel, but I just can't bear to see a hungry face when I'm eating a nice warm meal. Of course, everybody should have a home. Everybody should have a home. Everybody must be there. Has the right to a roof. Everyone has a right to a roof. And below it a nice warm. We applaud your noble efforts. We applaud your noble at guarding their collective health. At guarding their collective, and we'll gladly give you funds and food. And we'll gladly give you funds and food. Long as you can put them somewhere else. I've got a friend who owns a store about a half a block away. Every year she donates goods and money to United Way. But she thinks it's bad for business to have the homeless walking by. She says, why not send them south for the winter where they can stay warm and dry? Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have a home. Everybody must be fed. Everybody must be, who has the right to a roof. Everyone has a right below it a nice warm bed. And below it a nice warm, we applaud your noble efforts. We applaud your noble, guarding their collective health. At guarding their collective, and we'll gladly give you funds and food. And we'll gladly give you funds and food, long as you can put them. Comic relief. Please understand our position. It's not the way it looks. We want them housed, but out of sight there are zoning laws on the books. Long as we can clear our conscience and preserve our civic pride, we'll give our consent, even pay the rent on a place where they can hide. Oh, everybody should have a home. Everybody must be fed. Everybody must be. Everyone has a right to a roof. Everyone has a right, and below a nice warm bed. And below it a nice warm. We applaud your noble efforts. We applaud your noble efforts at guarding their collective health. At guarding their collectives, and we'll gladly give you funds and food. And we'll gladly give you funds and food, long as you can put them. Yes, we'll gladly give you funds and food, long as you can put them somewhere else.
I want to read us some words from the writer and activist Mariame Kaba this morning that in some ways I think speak to the satire we were just singing along to, or at least maybe a possible road forward. There's a passage from her book, We Do This Till We Free Us, that explains what the phrase hope is a discipline means, something that Mariame Kaba often talks about. And I want to share this passage with you today. Mariame writes, "For me, hope doesn't preclude feeling sadness or frustration or anger or any other emotion that makes total sense. Hope isn't an emotion, you know. Hope is not optimism. That speaks to me as a philosophy of living, that hope is a discipline, and that we have to practice it every single day. Because in the world we live in, it's easy to feel a sense of hopelessness, that everything is bad all the time, that nothing is going to change ever, that people are evil and bad. It feels sometimes that it's being proven in various ways, so I get that. I understand why people feel that way. I just choose differently, to think and act in a different way, to trust people until they prove themselves untrustworthy. I take the long view, understanding full well that I'm just a tiny little part of a story that already has a huge antecedent and has something that is going to come after that."
I do actually frequent the Unitarian Fellowship in Florence, which we call FUF, Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, FUF. Don't try that with your acronym, though, because if you don't have a lisp, you will after that. I consider myself a Junitarian. I had the whole directory in the 1980s, and I traveled around the country, pretty much every state, and I discovered that half the Unitarians grew up Jewish, so I wasn't alone. This is one of the songs that we adapted, at least into my Seder and some of the other Passover Seders that I've been to. Go Down Moses, I think you have the words to that, and many of you might know it already. It's an adaptation of our Jewish slavery or Hebrew slavery in Egypt that was made by the African American slaves. And it became a favorite song. In many cases, Moses, in this particular song, referred to the Underground Railroad conductors. So you can think of Harriet Tubman or some of the other that are lesser known. It was a good thing for them to sing as they were going from south to north. So 12 strings. So. When Israel was in Egypt's land, stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Thus saith the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. No more shall they in bondage toil. Let my people go. They shall come out with Egypt's spoil. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, that God's commanded to divide. Let my people go. Last time, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go.
Thank you. That was extremely powerful. I get a little choked up when I sing that song because of the history and because of this current holiday. I don't know if all of you know this, but today, last night was the first night of Passover. So at least some Jewish UUs are celebrating that today. Good morning, and it's so wonderful to be back. I want to invite us all to begin this morning with a little time of imagination. So get comfortable and close your eyes if you need to. Though perhaps in the end, you don't need to do too much work to conjure up the scenario I'm about to describe. I want to ask you to imagine, if you will, a land that is beset by conflict and oppression. In this place, there is at least one group of people who have long been exploited, abused, maybe even enslaved by the ruling powers of that land. But these people have grown in numbers and in determination, and they are now perceived as a threat to the powers that be, prompting brutal campaigns of repression in order to keep them in their place. I want you to picture an empire led by someone who fancies himself an absolute ruler, a cruel man determined to grind every last bit of value from human beings that he sees either as his property or as collateral damage in his quest for power. We know him. We do. Imagine there are a series of disasters that portend the folly of this man's rule, of his arrogance, a changing climate, a pandemic, environmental disasters that bring catastrophe to crops, livestock, and livelihoods, even mass death. But at every turn, the omens that seem to scream, "Stop! Turn from this way! Let these people go free!" they only seem to serve to harden this man's heart. Until at last the situation does become completely untenable. So the people go free, but not without one final grasping attempt from the ruler to get back what he views as his. Now you can come back from your imaginations if you had to go there at all. And I have to ask, does this scenario seem strange or far-fetched, or closer to home than is comfortable? Is this story a version of the story of Passover, or is it a parable of our modern times, or both? In the Jewish story of Passover, the ancient Hebrews leave the land of Egypt, and God miraculously parts the Red Sea to make a way to liberation. The Pharaoh who changes his mind about letting them go and pursues the ancient Hebrews is swallowed up by the sea along with his army, his greed and cruelty betraying them to their deaths. And as for the modern context, how that story ends, we'll just have to find out, won't we? In Hebrew, the land of Egypt is called Mitzrayim, which, according to the Zohar, which is a text of Jewish mysticism, it's drawn from Mitzarim, which means narrow straits. We often reference liberation from narrow places when we talk about Passover or Pesach. It's said that the observance of Passover remains relevant to each generation and time period because there will always be a Mitzrayim, a narrow place from which we need to emerge, either an outer one, an oppression that affects entire groups of people, or an inner narrow place that constricts our own hearts, or both? Now, is there anybody here this morning who is feeling some narrowness, some constriction right now? Anybody who feels like you or we are in a narrow place and we are trying our best to wiggle out of it? I don't want to make any assumptions, but what are some of the things that are creating a narrow space for you right now? Shout them out. Social security. Immigration. Taxes.
Freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press. I heard people in Gaza. Tariffs. Immigration. Trans folks. What was that? Firings. All of these. Elections. Yes. Economic catastrophe.
No longer helping people all over the world.
No longer helping people all over the world. Healthcare, climate crisis. Hypocrisy. We can go on and on. I know we could be here all morning. And I think all of the things we're naming point us back to this idea. There are forces creating these exterior narrow places, these unjust systems of power, and racism, gender discrimination, transphobia, homophobia, wars. As I was thinking about exterior narrow places, I am also drawn to thinking about people in Gaza. I know many Jews, myself included, are struggling this year as we witness this horrible war, continue to create a narrow place for Palestinians, for other groups, and even for Jews. That's the thing about narrow places that we can easily map. They can force us to confront the ways that a group we're a part of, that we love, is creating or maintaining a narrow place. And that's why the holiday of Passover invites me to ask myself, do I have a role in this? How is my role, or are my actions aligned or not aligned with my values? Values like love, interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and justice. And the things we named also point us to this idea that there are forces creating these inner narrow places. Things like greed or envy or unkindness. And I think that there are forces that are neither inherently bad or good that can also create narrow places. Things like depression, anxiety, and illness. It's not wrong for us to experience any of those things. It can be a part of being human, but all of them can really get us feeling like we are caught between a rock and a hard place. I think most of us know what the Mitzrayim, the narrow place, feels like. We are in one right now, in one way or another. And when we're in this narrow place, it can sometimes feel impossible to know or experience anything but that constriction, that tightness, that hemming in. It's hard to experience optimism or hope or humor or joy. It can almost feel disrespectful to our circumstances in a way. Or at least, I think that a lot of the time that is by design, especially when it comes to these outer narrow places. These rulers don't want us feeling hopeful or joyful or creative or like we have things to laugh at. Because our hope, our joy, our creativity, and our humor is a threat to the status quo. What I want to encourage us all this morning toward is this idea that claiming our joy in the moments that it does appear to us is a radical act. An act that will ultimately help bring us out of the narrow places. The experience of joy, which I know is a theme here this month, is a very powerful thing, an exhilarating feeling in the mind and the body. And I believe in these times, especially, we must cherish those moments of joy and guard them and do everything we can to cultivate them. In my experience, joy doesn't ask permission to show up. It certainly may show up when we invite it, but sometimes it arrives out of the clear blue. It is a bold and multi-sensory experience that enlivens our hearts and our creative capacities. Joy, I think, is a regenerative part of human experience that allows us to compost some of the things this narrow place throws at us and emerge with an expanded capacity to create, to struggle, and to keep on going. And I believe that as human beings, joy is our birthright. We deserve to experience joy. Sit with that for a moment. We deserve to experience joy. How does that feel? Yeah? Liberating. I'm up here preaching it to you, and it still feels a little radical to me. I get this feeling that I should ask, me? Really? I deserve inherently to experience joy? Wow. And that's how I know it's a powerful thing. That's how I know our joy is a direct challenge to these narrow places we find ourselves in. So in your life this week, this month, this year, chase a little joy. There's no need to pressure yourself to experience it every day or to impose a joy quota that you have to fill. But seek it out in the places you know you're likely to find it, and be open to finding it in unlikely places. Spend that time in nature. Go to the art museum or the art gallery. Have the conversation with a dear friend. Read your favorite book or poem. Listen to a beloved album. Window shop. Tell that joke. March in the Pride Parade. Go to the queer bar. Get that prescription for hormones. Wear the clothes and the accessories that reflect your authentic self, whoever yourself may be. Spend time with your loved ones. Play the game. Enjoy that spiritual practice. Volunteer in your community. Go on little pilgrimages to your favorite local sites, be they restaurants or stadiums or state parks. Eat that dessert, the one that looks so good, but you really think you shouldn't have it. Look at yourself in the mirror and marvel at the being that you are, at the multitudes you contain. With you on our side, surely we will find our way out of this narrow place. So seek joy, and when it arrives, pay attention to how and when and where. Notice the way it feels in your body and soak up the moment. Observe how you feel in joy's wake. See if you can study the technology of joy and become a technical expert in it and how to invite it. That will be a powerful antidote to the misery and despair our modern day pharaohs are so desperate to impose upon us. I want to close us with some adapted words from Mariame Kaba. The passage I read earlier from We Do This Till We Free Us about hope being a discipline has given rise to a twin belief for me, that joy can also be a discipline of a kind, a practice. I want to read you this adapted version of the passage that I read earlier in a way that speaks to joy. My remix goes, for me, joy doesn't preclude feeling sadness or despair or anger or any other emotion that makes total sense. Joy isn't just an emotion. One can experience happiness as part of joy, but joy is not just happiness. And that speaks to me as a philosophy of living, that joy is a discipline, a technology, a practice, and that we need to try to practice it every day. Because in the world we live in, it is easy to feel a sense of despair, that everything is bad all the time, that nothing is going to change ever, that people are evil and bad. And it feels sometimes it is being proven in various ways. So I get it. I just choose differently. I choose to think and act in a different way, taking the long view and understanding full well that I'm just a tiny little part of a story that has a huge antecedent and has something that is going to come after. That eventually we will come out of the narrow place. So I invite you to practice pursuing joy with me, to practice believing another world beyond this narrow place is possible, and we can each choose to help each other out of the narrow place and into the world that is to come. I invite us to trust each other and recognize the potential of every person gathered here today. Let's remember we are in an unfolding story that can change at any moment. The holiday of Passover is not, for me, necessarily about what happens after we exit the narrow places. It's about remembering that we can and will get through them, and we will come out the other side to liberation. Joy is a vital part of that. Humor is a vital part of that. So this morning, let's pursue both of them together as we sing together, as we are together. And let's say with hope, I'll see you on the other side of the narrow place. Amen. Selah, blessed be. I think I'm going to turn it back over to Mark.
Well, at this time, I would normally be at the Unitarian Fellowship in Florence. I'm trusting there's somebody else singing there because I'm here. And it's great to be back in Santa Cruz. I lived in Santa Cruz for 45 years, all over Santa Cruz County, including in Aptos. And I know that I've been in this room before. I don't remember how long ago it was, but it certainly is wonderful to come back and see you all. I like also that we, just as we do in Florence, we thank the native peoples, the indigenous peoples, for being on their land and how they've taken care of it. We do that there, and in honor of that, I'm including a song. I'm going to insert a song that's not on your sheet that I wrote, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. In the 1840s, the Choctaw tribe, who had just been moved from Tennessee to Oklahoma with the Cherokees and the Trail of Tears, heard about the potato famine in Ireland, sometimes called the Great Hunger. And even though they had pretty much nothing, they went around and they collected, I think it was something like $67. Well, my sheet says 170. So $170, and they sent it to County Cork, where it was most hard hit by the famine. And that would be about $5,000 today. So I'm telling you this story, even though I'm going to sing this story, just give you a little bit of background that the Irish never forgot that. And during COVID, they collected, I don't know what it's up to now, but at the time when I wrote this a few years ago, $500,000. And they sent it to the southwestern tribes who were hard hit by the pandemic. And there's a monument to this in County Cork. In fact, I sang this in New York, a couple of years ago, and there was a fellow there from Ireland, from Cork, who has seen the monument. And on the monument it says, "Their humanity bids us remember the millions throughout the world who die of hunger and disease in a world of plenty." So this is called Miles of Humanity. In the early 1830s, the Choctaw and the Cherokee were marched to Oklahoma from their homes on the Mississippi. 20,000 Choctaw, many died along the trail, forced to trek 500 miles in terrible travail. And the trail of tears has ended. 16 years had passed, while across the sea the Irish famine's deathly shadow cast. The Choctaw felt the suffering 4,000 miles away, and they took up a collection to send from America. Their humanity bids us remember the millions throughout the world who die of hunger and disease in a world of plenty. The money went to County Cork, so hard hit by the plague. $170 would be 5,000 today. It was 1847, but the Irish never forgot that the Choctaw sought to lend a hand when they themselves had not. Their humanity bids us remember the millions throughout the world who die of hunger and disease in a world of plenty. Then came coronavirus, and it hit the Navajo. The Irish heard their desperate pleas like theirs so long ago, recalling how the Choctaw had helped their starving kin. The Irish raised $500,000 and they sent the money in. Their humanity bids us remember the millions throughout the world who die of hunger and disease in a world of plenty. The bond between these nations is now forever sealed. Kindred spirits show us how a world can thus be healed. We are all of one race, all with the same needs. Bless the heart that gives and bless the hand that feeds. Their humanity bids us remember the millions throughout the world who die of hunger and disease in a world of plenty. Their humanity bids us remember the millions throughout the world who die of hunger and disease in a world of plenty. Thank you, Gura Maragut, Yakoki, yeah. Thank you, Gura Maragut, Yakoki, yeah. Well, I used to preach white power and that freedom could be won by teaching kids to hate blacks and Jews and how to fire a gun. It was Aryan revolution and a race war to the death. it hadn't been for Sylvia, I'd never caught my breath. But now I felt love and can never return. Love's a long, hard road, but it's not too late to learn. I used to stand for violence, now I know the score. And I don't want to fight for hate no more. It was from a very early age that I was taught to hate the mixing of the races and the power of the state. I grew to be a leader of white supremacy. But now the Nazis and the Klan are not the way for me, because I felt love and can no longer return. Love's a long, hard road, but it's not too late to learn. I used to stand for violence, now I know the score. And I don't want to fight for hate no more. I wrote this song for a fellow by the name of Greg Withrow, who was involved with the White Aryan Student Union in Sacramento, and he had been changed by falling in love for the first time, and he began to feel love for others and abandoned his comrades, paid for it dearly, and I thought, well, that gets a song. Not the fact that he was attacked, but the fact that he went undaunted. He was on Oprah, was on Good Morning America, talking about how love changed his life. Now the love of a woman is a very healing thing. It made this angry man to laugh and his empty heart to sing. I began to feel for others what I felt for her so strong. It made me see that preaching hate and hurting folks was wrong. So now I felt love and can never return. Love's a long, hard road. Love's a long, hard road, but it's not too late to learn. Used to stand for violence, used to stand for violence. Now I know the score, and I don't want to fight for hate no more. Yes, my days of hate are over, and I never will go back. I can no longer hurt someone because his skin is black. It's gonna be a long, hard road, but I have changed my ways. Love can do the same for you. Hope will shed its rays. When you feel love, you will never return. Love's a long, hard road, but it's not too late to learn. You'll no more stand for violence once you know the score, and you won't want to fight for hate no more. No, I'm not gonna fight for hate no more, and we're not gonna fight for hate no more. What's on there? Yeah, okay. So, I've heard preachers preach about the duties of a wife. I've heard husbands talk about the same. They say a woman must respect the zygote's right to life, but every sperm does not deserve a name. Here comes the chorus now. Every sperm does not deserve a name. No, every sperm does not deserve a name. If so, each man would found a nation every time he came. So every sperm does not deserve a name. And that's why they couldn't play it on my CD before 10 o'clock. Now, some say women don't deserve to have the right to choose, that if they get with child, they are to blame. But it takes two to do the deed, so why should women lose? And every sperm does not deserve a name. Sing it with me now. Every sperm does not deserve a name. Every sperm does not deserve a name. If so, each man would found a nation every time he came. So every sperm does not deserve a name. That's pretty good. You're a little light on the third line still. But after all, this is a church. So down through the ages, things have changed since Adam dated Eve. Since that first couple tried to hide their shame. And 3/4 of the women in this country still believe that every sperm does not deserve a name. With gusto, every sperm does not deserve a name. No, Lordy Mama, every sperm does not deserve a name. Present company accepted, of course. If so, each man would found a nation every time he came. So every sperm does not deserve a name. Now, there are those who would defend the right of every sperm that makes it to an egg and stakes its claim to manifest gestation till that fetus comes to term. But every sperm does not deserve a name. Last verse, here we go. How could it be a man can't seem to get it through his head that women's bodies aren't some kind of game? And if it was the other way and he gave birth instead, he'd say every sperm does not deserve a name. Last time, here we go. Every sperm does not deserve a name. Every sperm does not deserve a name. Let me hear you now. If so, each man would found a nation every time he came. So every sperm does not deserve a, just ask Venus or Minerva. Every sperm does not deserve a name. So there. Privileged to be here, and I think this one's on there. It's called Keep the Faith. It's a call repeat. We're going to do that just for the chorus, not so much for the verses, but we'll go over the chorus now, and you just repeat everything I say when we get to the verses, not.
And you can stand up if you'd like.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's a good stand-up song because it says so in it. Keep the faith. Well, let's start that again. We're going to repeat these lines after me. Ready?
But we have to hear them first.
Oh, well, you're going to hear them. Keep the faith. Don't lose heart. Stand up straight. Do your part. Stand together. Hold the line. The dark will pass. The sun will shine. I can see the storm a-coming. I can hear the voices rise. Wheels are turning, engines humming. The road ahead before our eyes. Keep the faith. Don't lose heart. Stand up straight. Do your part. Stand together. Hold the line. The dark will pass. The sun will shine. We are one for peace and justice. We are one for human rights. We are one in the name of freedom, and we will faith. Don't lose heart. Stand up straight. And do your part. Stand together. Hold the line. The dark will pass. The sun will shine. Speak your truth. Speak your mind. Leave your doubts far behind. Be the person you can be, and we will stand in unity. One more time. Keep the faith. Don't lose heart. Stand up straight. Do your part. Stand together. Hold the line. The dark will pass. The sun will shine. Stand together. Hold the line. The dark will pass. The sun will shine. The dark will pass. The sun will shine. One more time. The dark will pass. The sun will shine.